Well, thank you all for coming tonight. We definitely are excited about the opportunity to bring together disruptors and give them a space to disrupt.
I am here on behalf of BioLimitless to learn and network and engage at the Converge event here in Dallas.
If you were to come to an event like this, I think that it would be extremely beneficial for any people interested in getting into blockchain, or any people that just want to network with a group that's well educated in multiple areas. This is kind of one of those events that you should definitely go to.
It was very insightful. Ken Hirsch was the speaker. Love this guy. His mind is brilliant, and the way he works is operating from a level of people first, which I think is very powerful.
Not only did I get to meet so many people that I would have never been exposed to, I learned so much about blockchain and learned lessons from Ken's life that you would probably never hear just reading about him in articles. So I'm very thankful for being invited, and I look forward to the next one.
All right, everybody. Well, welcome. Thank you. I absolutely love that video. It's a great kickoff to what Converge has done in the past. I am your host today, Jonathan Taylor, JT. I am the growth executive and the director of the Converge Accelerator here at BankSocial. With me is my co-host, Liz Wininger. Liz, say hello. Introduce yourself.
Hello.
And we also have with us today Michael Abraham from Great Lakes Credit Union.
Morning, Jonathan.
And Justin Bamford from HarborLight Credit Union, two of the credit unions that are part of the accelerator.
Morning, everybody.
Great group.
Thank you guys for joining us today. So this is the first of hopefully many Converge Corners, where we give updates about the Converge Accelerator, the collective, and really everything that we're doing within the credit union movement when it comes to innovation and acceleration. So thank you guys very much for joining. This video really is to serve as a wake-up call for the movement on the direction that we're moving in with our Converge Accelerator and all the exciting stuff that's coming right up. So let's kick this thing off. First things first, Liz, let's talk about and set the stage for the Converge Accelerator. Let's talk a little bit about where it started and where it is, where it's been brought back to, I guess we could say, today. So can you talk a little bit about the origin, in the formation of the Converge Accelerator?
Yeah, I probably will not wax poetic on it as well as John would or JR, just because they were there at that foundation. But JR's background is, Tech Wildcatters, which was a accelerator and a very successful one for several years. So he brought that experience here to BankSocial. And then we have John, who is able to bring that vision and really get people excited about innovation, and really has been a part of a lot of these types of experiences in the past as well. So they started this a couple years ago. And then last year, John went to a hackathon that was hosted by Harvard, and we had some really great students that were there. And we've talked about this before. We talked about it at NACUSO last year, and we got an awesome response from it, because we had the kids from I shouldn't call them kids. We had the students from the hackathon there at NACUSO. And what they did at the hackathon was they gave them these different ideas. You can go work on this project. Here's the problem. You can go solve this. And these 4 students took this idea and they went back and stayed up for, I think it's like 32 hours, 36 hours. And they brought the idea to the hackathon so they bring their projects. And they won, and we brought them to NACUSO last year on stage. And the way that they speak about, so what they did was they built it was a lending platform, loan participation platform. And the way that they speak about credit unions was just so exciting for us who are in the industry and who have been here forever. And we use terms like the movement or P2P or whatever, all of the different terms that we use. And to hear them talk about decentralized finance in terms of credit unions was just really inspiring for us at NCUSO when we had all these people in the room who just have such big hearts and we care so much. And we are starting to see young people who want to be a part of the credit union space and can create the technology. So these people were headed to big, huge, they already had job offers at big, huge organizations, and they stayed in the credit union industry, and they are now funded by Circle, which is one of the accelerators, one of the great accelerators in our industry. So it's an awesome story. So we're getting back to that feel again, where we have a hackathon this weekend, actually, and we'll talk a little bit about that, I believe. I won't take anything away. But that's where it started. I think John speaks to this so well, but I'm lucky to get to sit in here and talk about it.
I love that, Liz. Let me unpack that a little bit for the listeners, because so many of the great things that come out of this movement are based in something that either hurts us, like ouch, I wish we could fix that pain, or a passion, like, hey, wouldn't it be amazing if we could do something like this? And when I first saw this, I felt both at once, because we know as an industry, I think, and Michael and Justin, you certainly can speak to this, where there's a graying of our membership, there's a graying of our board membership. We know we need to get new blood into the credit with employees, with the membership, and so working with and going to universities and going.
Hey, PT, your audio, you sound like you're underwater.
Oh no.
You keep kind of fading in and out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And I know you're an audio guy, so I know.
Yeah, I am an audio guy. Thank you for stopping me.
What you just did is amazing. You should
how? Okay, is this way better?
Yeah.
Okay, I just changed my levels. Thank you for stopping me.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is that, we all, I think, as a movement, have been struggling to figure out, how do we attract the youth? How do we attract the new generation of members and employees into our credit unions? And so I loved that. I think John's a natural educator anyway. He loves to teach, he loves to work with people to educate them, but to actually go to university, to actually spend that time with students who they didn't know what to build. They were like, we could build this, we could build that. And they were going down, as John has told me the story, they were going down a totally different path. But with John's experience now in the credit union space, he knew where there were some pain points. And he was like, what sucks for credit unions? Loan participation suck for credit unions, because they have to crawl through pages and pages and pages of documents. Justin's shaking his head, to make a determination whether there's some pain there, Justin. I can feel it. Where we have to decide in an instant whether or not we're going to buy a portion of a loan participation, and we don't have the time to go through all those documents. By the time we do, sometimes everything's sold, it's gone. So what if we could create an agentic AI that these kids know how to build? They just didn't have the use case. And so John was able to coach them and work with them to create a solution that could help our industry based on a pain point that we knew was there. That is an incredible piece, I think, of the story. And then to be able to bring those young adults, right? I know we want to say kids, to NCUSO, right? To the National Association of CUSOs, and show that and showcase that and explain. And I'll tell you, I was in the room when this was being presented, and this was on the last day. We were all feeling very sleepy, amongst other feelings, because it's a long week and it was in Vegas. And this was my favorite part of the entire conference. It melted my freaking brain. And I'll tell you, people were getting verklempt in that room. We were getting emotional because these kids they wax poetic so well on, like, they're awakening to the movement. They're awakening to this collaborative space that we have here. And the fact that they're all now credit union members, and they're all just so energized to help the movement with these incredible Jedi skills that these kids have fresh out of college with the newest technology and the newest pieces. So that literally was why I joined BankSocial. That literally was why I said yes. Because when Becky Reed asked me to run this accelerator, I was like, is this the thing that I saw at NACUSO? And she goes, yes. And I was like, oh my God, hell yes. That is just incredible, because we all know where those kids would have gone. Sorry, young adults would have gone if that wouldn't have happened. If John hadn't gone to Harvard and helped coach them, they would have gone to Capital One. They would have gone to, Wells Fargo. They would have gone to one of the big banks, and provided them this technology instead of bringing it into the credit union space. And so, like you said, Liz, after that, they got momentum, and now they're credit. And now they are, funded by participating with the Circle Accelerator, and they're up and out of the nest. So it's really, really amazing to see how this whole thing started. And that's what we're leaning in on now, with the accelerator. So really, really exciting stuff. And nobody else is really focusing at the collegiate level and pulling students forward. So I want to turn it over to Michael and Justin. Just from your experience, were you in the room? Did you see that, or did you just hear about it afterwards? And what resonated with you when you heard about that story? We'll start with you, Michael.
Yeah, I was there, John, and everything that you said just kind of encapsulates my thoughts too. Is just like, wow, we're going to have an opportunity here we don't normally have, and it's for the reasons you just mentioned, which is a lot of these, college graduates that are real high caliber folks coming out of these big, expensive schools need to go make a return somewhere, and their dreams are usually financially motivated, and at least that was the perception I had. And it seems more like there's a lot more purpose behind the methods and technology and advancements that these folks are putting together, that it's leveling the playing field a little bit, right? We're farming in the same space as some of the largest institutions in the country now, and we've got an opportunity to really, for lack of a better term, accelerate what we're doing in that space and try to advance what we're doing as an industry, which is just really exciting for me.
Yeah, I love that. What are your thoughts, Justin?
Well, I was not in the room. I joined the collective because Liz told me to. No, that's honestly
this really is the house that Liz built. I mean, at the end of the
day, she brought the opportunity to part of an executive networking group that we're in, and it really resonated with me. Obviously, it's missional for our credit union. We're trying to find ways to scale from our student-run credit unions to elementary schools and middle schools and high schools and presentations, to now partnering with colleges in the area and really, trying to improve that financial well-being more in our community. And that part resonated with me, obviously, with this tie-in, also along with the fact that it's an opportunity to get in a fintech accelerator investment at a scale that works for an organization our size financially. So then we keep on saying they're not kids, but really very personally to me is I have 3 kids. My oldest, I still say she's a kid, but she's finishing up college right now. My middle, my boy, he's trying to figure out where he's going to go to college in a year, just over a year. And then my youngest, he's an 8th grader, and he's already talking about all the things he wants to do with technology. He writes code and builds video games and all this stuff. So I'm like, oh my goodness, what an opportunity to help kids be able to find a purpose, to help their communities, grow the credit union movement, be able to have greater options coming out of college to help themselves, help their communities, and really help grow the credit union movement, which I'm passionate about. So it was just a great confluence of personal, professional, my passion over the last 20 years in the industry, and I'm all about it. So thanks, Liz, for bringing that opportunity to the table for me.
Yeah, I think the term converge is so perfect for this, because we have these young people who are so ambitious about their futures, and sometimes that can be, you join the big organizations that everyone talks about, and you got to work to the bones, and sometimes it's not fun. You got to put your hours in. and others go a different path. And this provides that different path for those who have that ambition and that talent to build something that financial industry, not just the financial services industry, but several industries are living on old technology. And we're seeing these students bring the new technology to us. And like we said, we're encouraging that because we're getting that talent, we're getting access to what they've built, and we're then able to really also mentor them through the process that they're going through when they form their QSO or their company.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know about you folks, but I think back to when I went to college, and the classes that I enjoyed the most were once I realized that it had a purpose based on what I actually wanted to do, right? And those are the ones that really stuck with you. And of course, so many of the best education that you get in college isn't in the classroom, it's outside. It's experience based, right? Whether you're running a club or you're doing something else. And so I think this converges both of those. There's the buzzword again. Converges both of those together. But I think it's just important for them to see examples of ways that they can help an industry grow. I mean, you talk to software engineers that are like, well, my degree's 5 years old, so I'm already obsolete. I've got to go and get this one and this one and this one. Now we've got AI in the mix. And so it's almost like every year there's a new, or every 6 months now, you've got to get up on the new school. So it's almost more important today that we're leaning in to the university system, that we're making those deep connections as a movement for all the reasons in order to help guide, help solve, help educate, I think, this generation about the power of cooperative finance, the power of the cooperative credit union space, and how they can vote with their dollars and build with their hearts. A whole suite of solutions that we desperately need in our space. I mean, we need some of these young folks, and I think that, and shout out to Crebit for seeing the light, I guess, and building an incredible solution. I mean, my mind was melted, and all I was thinking about was, damn it, I could have used this in my QSO 2 years ago when I was building a loan participation. And
they weren't the only ones.
Suite.
They weren't the only ones who took an idea from the financial services from credit unions,
sure,
and went and worked on it. They won. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, 100%. So I know, Justin, you said a minute ago that you signed up because Liz told you to sign up, and obviously, Liz, you were very passionate about it. But you also know Justin, and one of the things that I love about the group that we've put together, we've got Honor Credit Union as well. We're talking to a bunch of other credit unions at this point. Is that the benefit of our accelerator, and really all the accelerators out there, is that the point of entry is very low. So we can have credit unions of all different sizes with equal voices coming to the table saying, these are my pains, these are my passions. I think that is so important. And Michael, I know that your credit union at Great Lakes, you're, not to use the gambling metaphor, but you're spreading your chips around the board. I mean, you guys are participating at different levels with different accelerators in different organizations. Whereas Justin, you're just starting this journey, right? So I'm interested in digging in a little bit on that, Michael. Talk a little bit about what was it that got you into this mindset of we need to innovate and we need to leverage accelerators and use them in different ways?
So for me, I think it's two things. First is you look at just financial services, regardless of credit unions, banks, whatever. To Liz's point earlier, we're all on, band-aided legacy technology that might have been developed in the 70s before most of us were around.
Sure.
And I think what's interesting about that is fintech has really been kind of in play for about 10, 15 years as a term. And it still hasn't completely disrupted everything yet because of all of those legacy, I would say, influences. there's this inertia to not adapt things. And I think at some point the inertia is going the other way. I think we're already feeling it. We're already seeing it in a lot of areas. That's going to happen quickly when it really tips. And if we're not on the forefront of at least exploring what might be important for our future in whatever area, I mean, we have about 22 different QSO investments in a wide variety of different aspects of the industry, ranging from like HR to treasury management to startups. And, the goal there is let's ensure that we don't get passed by. We don't know what's going to win. We don't know who's going to win, but we think that these ideas are really good. And if they could be helpful for us as a credit union, either through, more efficiency, new ideas, bringing, the culture and alignment to the future for our group, that's great. But oh, by the way, they could be income drivers too, right? There's a lot of different reasons why we get involved with things. And I think, like you said, we're spreading our chips around to my second point, which is, nobody has a license on what the next big thing is going to be yet. We don't know for sure.
It's true.
And, we may not guess, correctly on any of these things, but one of the 22 things that we could take off for us, and it could change what we want to do strategically pretty quickly and allow us the opportunity to do it instead of watching someone else do it for us.
That's perfect. Justin, what are you really hoping for with the participation in the Converge Accelerator?
I think, one of the biggest things that comes to mind is just challenging our organization through growth. We're a small, medium to medium asset sized credit union, and know that we have to innovate to succeed and to sustain and continue in the current landscape in our industry. So just really pushing and encouraging that growth and innovation and generative mindset with our team is a big part of it. And then hopefully being able to obviously bring some new exciting products and services to our members before others have access to them, potential income stream, and then really just getting our board and executive team used to the fact that we need, to Michael's analogy, put more chips on the table and get involved where we can in innovation before the world passes us by, because we're not technologists by nature at our credit union, and sometimes we can't afford to attract and retain all the talent necessary to build the things that we need to build at an organization our size. And getting into something like this helps us maybe level the playing field a little bit and get more opportunity to access those things while challenging our team's growth and innovation mindset. So those are some big drivers for me.
I thought it was really bold of these credit unions to say, okay, I don't quite understand this completely, but I know in my ecosystem at my credit union, I keep wanting to create business developers and people who think innovatively. And those people are there, they're at the credit union, but sometimes we need a system to help pull those ideas out of them and for them to understand what change management looks like, because a lot of what we're talking about is change management as well, because we're saying we're embracing new things, we're embracing new technologies. And so when Justin and Honor, Scott McFarlane and Heather and Megan and the whole group there and Great Lakes came and they said, yeah, we keep saying we want that. This isn't a conduit to help us to achieve that. That was so cool for me to see, as like, I don't know if there's I know there's a lot of credit unions in this industry that want to be innovative and are innovative. And I don't know, I always fall back on, if you don't have it in your budget, if you don't have a line item around what your initiative is, then you're really not pushing that initiative forward. And so these guys came to the table and they said, we're putting this line item in our budget and we're pushing toward innovation. And that's not only with what they've done to fund some of this, but also around the time and effort that their team is going to be making toward this, and that evolution that they will see within their credit unions. Because I know here at BankSocial, we do that every single day. I could start in the morning and by the end of the day, it's like, holy moly, I can't believe how much not only we got done, but new ideas all over the place. So it's exciting to live in BankSocial and get to bring it all of that innovation out with our credit unions as well. And that kind of takes us over to the collective, which is another component that is backed by BankSocial and NCUSO, and NCUSO is partnering with us on. And the collective is a different component. So we've got Converge, which is out here, and it's the accelerator. But we also have the collective, which is a collaboration ecosystem for credit unions, for fintechs, for CUSOs. We're kind of saying all are welcome. All are welcome, but not all will remain and participate. So we have collective labs where we're innovating on ideas. We have collective committee where we are choosing how we're going to drive and govern this this group of, and I would say it's right now it's a group. And we don't want it really backed by any one organization. We want it to be that all can come to it and lift all ships, because really, like, I would encourage even some of our competitors or traditional competitors that we have in the market space to also join this, so that we can build off one another and what we've already done really, really good, because we're really, really good at some things and someone else might be really, really good at another thing, and we can come together and work on that. So just to dive a little bit further in on what the purpose of the collective is I've got my notes here, so I'm going to look off because I want to make sure that I hit all of them. We want to accelerate execution through shared effort. That sounds just like what this movement does. Reduce duplication across organizations, create clarity between learning, building, and decision making, and align stakeholders around what we actually scale. So we've got the workshops, we've got collective labs, we've got committees, and we've got the council. So we're really encouraging our fintechs, our credit unions, our CUSOs, individuals to come and be a part of it as well. So you can sign up on our website, and we're going to talk a lot more about it. We're actually going to do a hands-on session at NCUSO. So if any credit unions are headed there, you're going to get a hands-on session. You bring your laptop, you're going to open your laptop, and John's going to actually take you through how to apply AI to a project that you're working on, and you're going to walk out of that session with a deliverable. So bring your business plans and be ready to do the work there. So we have a couple of those sessions happening, and then we'll talk a little bit more about NCUSO. We'll have a little meeting of the collective there as well. So we're excited about it.
Perfect segue. Thank you. It's important, I think, to just unpack a little bit of what the overall vision is. The collective is the overarching overarching group. All are welcome. We want credit unions, we want fintechs, we want members, we want everybody who has a passion for innovating, and certainly all of our other accelerator brothers and sisters that are out there. The collaboration with them has been incredible. So shout out to everybody that is doing accelerators that's out there. And certainly NCUSO is going to be where everybody, I hate to say Converge again, we're going to say Converge, comes together to really not only lay out the superpowers of the Converge Accelerator, but also lay out other, highlight the different accelerators that are out in the movement, because we are seeing an explosion, aren't we, Michael, of accelerators that are out there, which is exciting. But one of the things that I was incredibly proud of when I first said yes to this role, because I'm friends with so many of these people that are doing these accelerators, I thought, well, I don't want to compete, and I don't want to do the same thing that everybody else is doing. And how do we not, how do we work together? And also understanding that, fintechs or young CUSOs, they need a lot of support and they need time, because time kills all deals. And sorry, credit union movement, I think we know this about ourselves. We don't move as fast as the money flows out sometimes when it comes to being a startup. And so creating almost an education plan for these fintechs over years of support is what's going to be sustainable and much more successful, so that great ideas don't flare out, because that doesn't help anybody, right, in the space. And so, Michael, you've been a part of these conversations. And when I started reaching out to some of my friends, whether it was Rowan or whether it was, Jim Ryan at Circle or Philippe at, at Reseda Group, they were like, yeah, we talked about this at Venture Tech. We had a big group and we all said, this is a thing and we need to not, I think Nick Evans might've said, walk into the room with our elbows out. Let's figure out a way that we can all figure out where our path is, where's our niche, what do we do differently and unique, how do we work together to nurture and to hand off these fintechs, whether they become a CUSO or not, kind of up through the ranks, so that we can support them for the long haul until they can really get that sustainable wind under their wings to get up to the 10,000 20,000 foot cruising altitude where the air isn't so bumpy, right? So talk a little bit about that, Michael. I think that's a really important piece, and then we'll dive into what we're going to do at NCUSO with it.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's like this, the credit union industry from a startup standpoint is, I think, not well understood as far as how to and what a CUSO does if you're not in the industry, right?
Sure.
And I think what the groups that you're talking about are doing is we're making active outreach to those that are talented individuals that can help us solve a lot of the problems within our own ecosystem without having to go wait for that to be developed to a business that's capable of passing, all the due diligence to be a vendor on your credit union. It's an early stage investment in the future that can be made to really move things from, the idea phase all the way through development. And each accelerator that I've been a part of or group, some of them aren't even calling themselves accelerators. They're just cooperative collaborators, right? Like we're just going to get in a room and think about what we want to do.
Yeah. We just want to talk to each other and we have good ideas.
Yeah, and that stuff's really good. But I think what's been cool is we're now having like a more strategic focus, like roles like mine, where it's not just sitting around thinking stuff up. We're like, hey, this is real. We could make this real. It just needs a little bit of TLC, whether that be money or education or understanding, that we can deliver to help foster growth and development of these businesses that will then benefit the industry in ways that it's not happening right now.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, what's kind of cool is we have these different versions where it's like, this group kind of takes care of the newborns, right? They got the nursery and they'll get them to the point where they can crawl. And then there's this other group that is only really invested in trying to get people from crawling to walking. They don't do anything beyond that. Then there's those that, these guys are walking and running, and that's cool. They're going there. And then there's like, hey, these guys can run real fast if we just push them. And that kind of differentiation within what's going on in the CUSO investment space right now is really, I don't want to keep saying accelerate, but it's getting a faster pace where that newborn is becoming a 16-year-old with a car really quickly. And that can't happen without industry influence in the right way. And I think that's what this group's all about.
You said that so well. You always put the greatest analogies in there. And as you were saying
I have to dumb things down so I can understand them, and then I explain them.
You can tell he's been watching the Olympics. You can tell he's been watching the Olympics. No, that's perfect. Go ahead, Liz.
I just wanted to say I loved the idea of you laid it out really well on newborn to mature. And I pictured actually the on-ramp of a highway going a little slower at first, and then the on-ramp. So different organizations will enter this ecosystem of accelerators at different points in their life. They don't always have to start with us. They don't always have to start at the end. So it is such a great ecosystem of accelerators that are going to really create I think a flywheel for our organizations.
Yeah, 100%. And we're culminating this game plan and this collaboration between all the accelerators at NCUSO. So all paths are leading to NCUSO here for our winners of we are going to be doing some hackathons in the next few months. We're going to be putting out a lot of information on that. One is going to be at Duke. That's going to be the big hackathon that we're doing. I think there's 10 Ivy League schools that are participating in that. You don't have to be necessarily part of one of those Ivy League schools in order to participate. So we're going to be getting a lot of information out there. John is going to be on site working with students again. And we've got 2 others that we're working on as well as far as hackathons. And so, we're going to be getting a lot of information out there, and that's going to be an exciting opportunity. The winner of that hackathon that's going to be hosted at Duke, we are going to be able to tell the winner of that they are going to Disney World, because that is where NACUSO is going to be held this year, which, by the way, that is April 27th through the 30th for folks that don't know. I can say Randy and the team there have been working their butts off. They've been so incredible to work with. They've been so great. They're so excited about all of this because they see the importance of it, and this is where we're going to be bringing it. So we are going to be bringing our hackathon winner, at least from the first one, to the event. Our owners in Converge Accelerator are going to be there as well as a lot of the fintechs that are going to be part of many of the other accelerators that are in the movement are going to be there as well. So we'll take this in bites. There's a couple different pieces that we're going to be doing at NACUSO. Number one, it's important that the credit unions and the CUSO attendees at NACUSO get a flavor for what the magic of a hackathon really is all about. And it's about bringing ideas, bringing your pain points, bringing your passions to a session, and just putting fingers to keys on how to start working on it. So many problems we have in the space. It's the hardest part is just starting, right? And all of us now have these AI tools at our fingertips, whether it's just through Office 365 or it's through your Google Suite or it's through whatever you already have on your laptop, and you're probably not even close to utilizing the tools that you already have access to in your day-to-day. And so John had an awesome idea. He was like, wait a minute, I was supposed to do a section on this over here, talking about probably Genius Act and stablecoin and whatever. And he was like, no. What I want to do with this refocus on the hackathon or the hatchathon, we're playing around with that as well. Hackathon model is let's show folks, let's help people utilize tools based on problems that they have. So we're going to be doing that at NACUSO Monday, 4:15 breakout session. Any and all can join, whether it's credit union folks that can bring something back and bring a new skill or a new game plan back to their credit unions, or credit union folks, CUSO folks that are going to bring it back to their CUSO or bring it back to their credit union owners. In so many cases, a CUSO, a credit union service organization, is really designed to do a lot of that due diligence for the credit union owners, right? So we're excited about that session there. And so that's going to be something very unique and very different, because it's not just going to be about talking or coming up with ideas, Michael, as you said. That's great, but then at some point you got to put your fingers to keys. So that's going to be a really, really great session. Ourselves, the Converge Accelerator, we're going to be meeting at NACUSO. We've got space there to meet and to ideate on our game plan for our launch here. And then the last day, which is Thursday, that is going to be an accelerator. I've been jokingly calling it the Excel Avengers, but it's all of the accelerators, or all the major accelerators that are already established in the space. We are coming together for a half day. It's they've been doing Technology Thursdays for a long time, and we're getting together as a group and laying out the flow and the vision for that crawl, walk, run approach that Michael talked about within the ecosphere, for fintechs coming in going, well, where do I belong? What grade level am I at? Which school do I go to? Credit unions going, well, which one do we invest in or be a part of, or can we do a couple, or, answer a lot of those questions. Give a lot of the fintechs that are within this class of accelerators some stage time to do their pitch for a group, and then do some speed dating, for lack of a better term, similar to some of the other conferences that have done that in the past. So we can all ideate. All the accelerators can get to know all the fintechs, all the accelerators, and others that are going to be participating, and really solidify our group's promise to work together and help each other out, and provide referrals. And God, the time savings on due diligence alone is going to be so lovely for all these folks that have to go through 200 applications. So really, really excited about everything that is going to be coalescing at the NACUSA conference in Orlando. It's going to be at the Beach and Yacht Club on Disney, which my kids don't hate, and we're going to have a great time there. So just wanted to kind of lay that out there. But Michael, Justin, what are your reactions to all that, and what are you excited about?
Go ahead, Michael.
Reaction is very excited to be a part of all of it. Can't wait to get down there in a couple of weeks and see what we can do to do that. I think one of the things I want to point out is we talk a lot about, and those that aren't really involved in these things, they probably just think we sit around, drink coffee, and stare at each other until somebody comes up with something. Because that was my perspective until I got engaged and involved with these types of things. And I think that, what this does, like I said before, is it provides a focus for people that want to do new things in an environment where, their ideas aren't going to be dismissed because they're not status quo.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really important to embrace those things, but also have some guardrails around it. So it's not just like, hey, I think we should do this. Why? I don't know. I just think we should do it. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. But the whole goal of this is actually for output. It's not for the input, which is the exercise. It's the output that comes out of it that's really valuable. And, I think that's why we want as many people involved and at the table, whether they're, friends or foes or whatever it is, because the output is, really strong when it's collaborative. If it's dominated by money or one individual or, just whoever wants to take that room over, it can be difficult to really get what we want out of it. Mm-hmm. And that's why all the different perspectives coming together is really exciting for me.
Yeah. Justin, your thoughts?
Well, I'm just excited to get some exposure to my first experience with this. And I think of, as a small credit union or medium-sized credit union, we should be agile and nimble and be able to innovate maybe quicker than some largers in the industry. And then I think of, even the largest credit unions in the industry are, orders of magnitude smaller than the single largest bank in the country, right? And the single largest bank in the country invests more in fintech than all of our industry combined. So we're not going to win based on just dollars invested in technology. We're going to win based on carving out that actual time and structure and space to get together and collaborate and do really cool and impactful things together. And I think that's the magic of the credit union industry, is that we're willing to reach across with everybody in the room and say, let's work together to really bring this to the industry and the movement. So I'm super excited about that aspect.
Absolutely. It's almost like playing a game of Go Fish, but everybody's cards are on the table. I mean, that's really what the collaboration is within the space. Some people use the term co-opetition. I don't even think it's that. I think we want there is so much opportunity to help more people out there. If we've got 10% of the market, right? I think I heard Kyle Hammond once say that we're the left-handed, financial institutions. We have 10% of the market. There's plenty of people that we can save and help out there in the space. So working together makes sense. Smarter, not harder, is the key. And so for credit unions that are listening, I would say, get involved. We would love for you to get involved with us, but certainly any of the accelerators that are out there are wonderful. They're all great. And they all have their different flavors and their different pieces of the process, I would say, or the development when it comes to fintechs. I think what we're doing which is truly unique, is that we're bending down to the college space, and we're saying, let's do a bunch of things that we've all wanted to do for a long time all at once. Let's strengthen our relationships with our local universities. So Michael, you and I talked about this. It's like, okay, what are the universities around your credit union? Justin, same thing with you. And how can we use these hackathons that we're going to be participating with and partnering with as a catalyst, as a reason to reach out to these universities, to promote, to get students to these hackathons? How can we then use that as an opportunity to educate these students about the movement, about the cooperative space, and hopefully get them to build some stuff that is going to be really helpful for us? And then when it all when it coalesces in a winner that has a program that's truly interesting, how can we invest in them, our time, our experience, our money, to get them up and out? So it's a very unique model. And like you said before, Michael, we're kind of going to the to the womb a little bit. We're starting at the very beginning, or maybe it's, I don't know if you call it preschool if we're using an education metaphor, but we're going to the collegiate level, which, by the way, happens to have the freshest, the most advanced education for ideating and creating what we need to create, right? And then bringing it into the space. We've done it once already. And we've seen it work with, one hackathon that turned into a fintech that is now at the Circle Accelerator with Crebit. And we're going to continue to do it. So credit unions that are interested in strengthening your relationships with your universities, doing something fun and different, and getting the newest, most advanced education of talent, working on your problems and potentially giving you an opportunity to invest in them and help them grow into a company that can help a whole bunch of us in the space. Converge Accelerator is really the one for you.
Add in there, each person. Michael was on my board at Extend, where I was there for several years, and we invested in this opportunity. And one of the things to get there was, we were like, how do we get to that point where Michael and Great Lakes are? We're so far from that. And so we just started with an investment committee, and then that investment committee created some documents around our posture toward investment and where our funds live, and that grew. And so it was years of kind of getting there, but those years can be consolidated from the people that are on this call. And so if you reach out to us, we can help any organization, any credit union who's in that spot. So it's the same idea as we were talking about with those new fintechs. When do you do the on-ramp with us, with an accelerator in this space? It's the same with financial institutions, with credit unions. When do you do the on-ramp with investments? And investments, I kind of use that term because it is an investment. But I think some people also traditionally think of the term investment as, I give and then I get 4% back or something. That's not what we're saying with this. There's a lot more around it. So I know for me, I think the wind here is shaking the internet, so I popped off for a second. So thanks for letting me back in.
No, it's all good. Justin, did you have something?
Oh, I was just going to say that what Liz was saying really resonates with us, at HarborLight Credit Union, bringing something like this to the board, as a first-time look at an investment opportunity in an accelerator or fintech organization, without having a lot of that pre-work in place with an investment committee or looking at these concepts. It was a bit of a lift and a foreign concept for my board to say, wait, this is an investment, but how does this actually work? And eventually I said, I'm saying this is an investment and our auditors are going to look at it that way, but really I'm not saying that we're guaranteeing we're going to make money off this. This is something that we need to do to innovate and get better as an organization and start to think generatively and try to do some of the things that these larger, more successful organizations are doing that will help with our long-term survival. So Liz and Jonathan and the team can definitely help with anybody who needs to bring those sorts of things to their board as a first time look, probably better than I did. I think, I told my board chair during the meeting, you've let me invest in more stupid things in the past, I promise. So, let me take a look at this and hopefully this will make us better, help us grow some new muscles. And they're like, okay. So I think just being able to take that to your board who hasn't seen this before and get them to agree to sign on is a step, and the team here can help with that. And I'm just excited to see where it goes.
100%. And I will say this, having been in the QSO space for almost 20 years, and I say it every year, and I have a lot of respect for so many of the different events that are out there, but NQSO really is the place to go to see for sure innovation, to see what is the latest and the greatest on the fintech side, because so many of these fintechs are going, should I become a QSO? What is a QSO? Do I want to become a QSO? And every fintech I talk to, I go to NQSO. You've got to go to NQSO to really understand it. So it's where so many of these ideas are, particularly this year, because of what we're planning at NQSO. So I would say for everybody listening, if you're a credit union and you're remotely interested in taking a leap like Justin has done, like Michael has been doing for a while now, go to NQSO this year. I'm not getting paid for that endorsement, but I just know what's going to be there this year is going to be really, really magical. And it's going to be a launch pad, I think, for us, for the collective, for many of the other accelerators that are out there. And a few more might be born out of it, which is great, because I think we've got a really good roadmap for everybody working together so we can work smarter, not harder.
Mm-hmm. And it's at Disney, so magical was perfect in there. And we've got the Olympics happening. And if you think back to when Nancy Kerrigan won the Olympics and she said she's going to Disneyland, this is like all so serendipitously working.
We are going to Disney. We're going to Disney.
Yep.
So it's going to be great. So I would say if you're interested, or even if you just have an idea, hey, can you guys work on this while you're doing this? Any ideas, please load our lips as we're going into these hackathons, as we're working with these students. Yeah. That's a real cheap way to get involved. Any way that we can help steer and mold and attract that talent into the space, that's really what we're going to be doing. And then from there, providing them an accelerator path in order to get up and out of the nest and into the ecosystem. That's what we're doing. That's what we're going to do with Converge Accelerator. We've done it once, we're going to do it again, and we're going to keep doing it. So if you have any interest at all, check out the collective. The scroll is there on the bottom. And I would just say at this point, do we have any questions from the audience? I don't know if we do. Not seeing anything.
I popped over to a couple of the platforms. I didn't see any.
Okay, great. So guys, thank you so much. Any final thoughts from anybody?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We're great to be in such great company here, and looking forward to working on some of this stuff. Like I said before, it's not just sitting around thinking stuff up. We got to get to work.
Let's get to work.
Really excited to be involved. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, but yeah, just super excited and thankful for the opportunity and encouraging others to give it a try.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, HarborLight. Thank you, Great Lakes. Thank you to Honor. Thank you to everybody that is excited and has agreed to come on as an advisor. We've got a stacked group, and really, really excited for the hackathons coming right up and for what we're going to be bringing to NQSO. So thank you guys very much, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye now.